I've always tried to wear white just to stand for something positive in the metal community, to set me apart from the other players. And I think when you're walking through a pitch black arena and you're heading to the stage, it's real easy to say, look at that little white thing up and down, walk into the stage. That's got to be him.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie Darrell, and today we are at home and social with Dave Mustaine. Oh my gosh, Megadeth fans, you're in for a treat. How's it going, dude?
It's going great. It's going fantastic.
Your 16th studio album, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. It's everything that Megadeth fans want. It is in your face. You got to crank it up to 11. How does this studio album stick out for you in your career at this point, having 15 awesome ones before it?
Well, that was a great introduction. Thank you for that, Katie. I think the way that it stands up to anything is it's its own individual piece of art, and I have always looked at it like that. That each record should stand on its own, and The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead is no different from any other record. It's a record that it pays homage to the British invasion with my songwriting approach, and it pays respect to the new wave of British heavy metal, which was where the guitar playing got influenced. So my songwriting came from the British invasion, and a couple generations later, again, England was responsible for influence musically on a lot of generations of American musicians, me notwithstanding. So when you mix those two things together, it's very different. But if you really do your history, you'll find that my main influence was a little black man named Robert Johnson. And he influenced so many other musicians that did rock and roll. And a lot of people just don't know who he is. But big influence in rock and roll, Robert Johnson.
What was the first, Robert Johnson, obviously a big influence. What was the first album that you spent your money on buying?
Let's see. The very first record that I got, I actually won on a radio station. I called in and won. And that was Frampton Comes Alive. They had said I got my choice of several different records, and I didn't know who Mr. Frampton was at the time. And all I knew was I was a young kid that won a record off of a radio station. And I was going to take the double record because there was twice as much music. And after that, everything else was history. Falling in love with Peter's playing and finding out he was in Humble Pie, and discovering that band, and them being part of the British invasion, and how much their guitar playing had been part of the new wave of British metal, British heavy metal as well, because of Peter's work with Humble Pie.
So where does headbanging come into Dave's life? At what point did you start wanting to get hard and really elevate this music to be just so much louder and faster than everything that you were being influenced by?
Well, headbanging really wasn't a thing at that time yet. There was a lot of air guitar playing. We would have some of the fans, they were affectionately called punters. They would go to the shows and they would have their fake guitars. They would have guitars cut out of a piece of plywood or a piece of cardboard. And they would, more often than not, the shape that they almost always invariably went to the Gibson Flying V shape, which I'm an endorser now of Gibson's products, and I'm an ambassador for them, and I'm so excited that this has got to be one of the proudest moments in my career. Not only with the record, not only with our contracts all being successfully completed. You know, we turned in our last record to Universal, so we honored that contract and did everything that was part of it. Same thing with the publishing. We completed our contract with the publishers and honored it, and turned in everything we were supposed to. Now, how many bands do you know at our stage, at our status, do that? They don't. They usually get an extension, or they will have had such a huge contract in the first place with so many options that they'll never be free. I was a really shrewd business person and made sure that we were going to have a future as soon as we possibly could. And I think right now, with this new record, especially how good the record turned out, it's going to be a great opportunity for us to, really reintroduce ourselves to ourselves, Katie, as well as to some new fans.
The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, great new album from Megadeth. You've put out a couple singles, and not necessarily videos. They're short films. Explain to us the difference between a video and a short film, and the story. And this is a 3-part trilogy that's going to be happening on these short films.
Video number 1 turned out really great, and it set the story up.
And sorry to interrupt you, but for our fans that don't quite know the story, this is a story in the history of your mascot, Vic Rattlehead.
Right. So what we did, we had on the last record on Dystopia, we had a friend of one of our staff who plays our mascot live. He had said that he had a friend of his who was a video director who had a mountain of awards that he'd won, and would I be interested in him doing a video for us for the instrumental song we had called Conquer or Die? And I said, sure, of course. So he did that, and it was remarkable. And we came back and did Lying in State, and paid him for both of those, and it started up a great working relationship with him. So for this version, I wanted to tell the story, and so many people think that this is all the same thing. It's not. None of these songs were connected to each other, but they ended up being that way. So the first video is We'll Be Back, last song on the record, and pretty much starts off the whole video and the story, which is our hero going off to work, and little did he know that he had been targeted, and his family had been marked for kidnapping or execution or both. And the third video is going to be dropping on the 2nd of next month, just a few short days from now. And I won't tell you about that one yet. I'll let you see for yourself. But that promises to be another really great installment. So we've got part 1, which you've seen chapter 1 and 2 in, and chapter 3 will make up all of part 1. And then we have part 2 coming later, which will have chapter 4, 5, and 6 in it. And then that's it for the record.
All right. Well, the new album for Megadeth is called The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. The band is hitting the road, going to be out there in all the major cities. Everyone needs to grab the album, grab some tickets, probably buy some merch, do all the things. Thank you so much for being here today, Dave. I appreciate your time. Hey there. Thanks for watching AXS TV. Subscribe, follow, like, and do all the good stuff. And make sure you leave a comment below. I don't know, just let us know what your favorite AXS TV show is, or who your favorite bands are, and what artists you're into, or just say hi, man. I like to be told hi. We love hearing from you. That's the point, all right? Keep it coming.